And then another important one on policy is around finance, agricultural finance and the commercialization of black farmers and the development of rural areas. How do we see that playing out this year?
Yeah, I mean, I've been writing, and I think that's one of the key important thing for me to say. Look, we talk a lot about saying, if you look at South Africa's agricultural output, black farmers are not contributing a lot. The contribution of black farmers on agricultural output is between 5 and 10%, according to numbers coming out of the NAMC. So for that actually to improve, it means that growing the pie so that as many people as possible can participate into that. How do you grow the pie? You grow the pie by taking, firstly, all of the underutilized land that is either on the government or elsewhere. You bring that land into full production. And then by bringing that land into full production, you also then have to think about financing. But I think the one mistake that we have already made, even on a 700,000 hectares that the government is releasing to people, is saying, look, you're going to have a long-term lease of about 30 years, but it's non-tradable. Then on its own, that hinders the financial flexibilities that people would get. I think if the state can now think about transferring the rights of the land to the people that they get, after 5 years of occupying the land, you get a right to buy that land. You don't wait for 30 years. I think that will be a good step, and it leads towards commercialization, but also selecting the right jockey to participate on that land. But also then thinking about these blended finance instruments, about how can all of those instruments assist in there. Because those blended finance instruments have both commercial banks, co-ops, government coming together. We can utilize those instruments. But I think at the core, financing in agriculture is going to become ever more important. We have challenges, for example, at the land bank and all of those things. Now, we're going to have, the topic of finance has been sitting somewhat at a periphery in agriculture. We've been talking about land, exports, and all of those things. But I think at the core, we're going to have to think about how do we finance the farmers. And to see real transformation, we're going to have to think critically about the commercialization of black farmers, growing that pie. But also that doesn't mean that it will be at the expense of leaving smallholder farmers. Smallholder farmers will still be assisted on lifting by hand, but I do think that we need to be serious about the commercialization. Now, on that point of financialization, I think it opens up a room for many players to look at the sector, to see that given the challenges at the land bank, can the new players come in and expand their participation in that space? Is it conducive for new players? And also obviously looking at the ways at which the land bank can be assisted, which I hope that the government and various stakeholders that are involved will assist the land bank to come back on its full way. But I think this whole issue introduces a number of discussions and opportunities for some within agriculture to think about the financialization of the food sector at large.